Hi, everybody. Kylie Carr here from Beyond the Business Suit, and I am so thrilled to have Michelle Glover with us today. Hi, Michelle.
Hello, good morning or
Good
afternoon,
morning. Right, wherever you are in the world,
wherever
whenever
you
you're
are.
listening.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me tell you about Michelle's fabulousness through her official bio. So Michelle Glover is the certified coach and owner of Journey Unlimited LLC, a career coaching company. A talented human resource executive with over 15 years experience, Michelle helps clients work in their purpose by guiding the self-discovery process, building mental resiliency, and developing the strategic roadmap for that delivers results. Her reach spans across diverse industries, including high tech, manufacturing, engineering sectors, as well as educational systems. She works with just about every industry.
Yes.
Fantastic. She has devised her own purpose-driven career coaching model, which views clients holistically by addressing their personal and professional well-being and career advancement. Prior to starting her business, Michelle spent 12 years working for a Fortune 100 global business in various fields of human resources to include consulting, strategy, coaching, and leadership development. And in 2015, she took a leap of faith and started her company, Journey Unlimited, with the goal of helping professionals align their purpose in the profession. Michelle serves as a chair for the Women's League of Atlanta Chambers of Atlanta Black Chambers and serves multiple organizations focused on developing people and the community. She graduated from Winthrop University, the Darla Moore School of Business at the University of South Carolina, and received her Certified Professional Life Coach designation through the Christian Coach Institute. This is going to be a great conversation. I know it. I know it. So, Michelle, welcome
Yes.
to Beyond the Business Suit.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes, I'm excited. I am so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited too. And Michelle and
Mhm.
I were connected through Monica Bay, who has also been on the podcast. And when we met, it was just like, okay, of course Monica connected us because
Exactly.
she is just, her light, her energy was wonderful. And there was so much that she
Mhm.
shared in terms of her journey and her point of view,
Mhm.
especially with regards to your purpose, that resonated with me so profoundly. So I knew I had to have her on the show. I think a great place for us to start, Michelle, is for you to
Mhm.
share some of your journey. I mean, your company name is Journey Unlimited. So let's talk about your journey and what led you to this work.
Oh my goodness. Okay, how much time do we have?
Yeah.
I will tell you, and it's so funny how God works in building the building blocks to position you for where He has you. So, I started as, in human resources, got my master's in HR from the University of South Carolina, go Gamecocks. And then right after that, I jumped into Siemens, global Fortune 100 company, and was on the HR fast track. I mean, I started doing HR leadership development in that program. Then I went to HR consulting. Then I went to strategy. I went to learning. I went to talent management. I mean, I did all of that in the HR field. And I was considered a global talent. So that means I was one of the high potentials in position for one of their executive roles. And having mentors in the corporate space, having, being, going through leadership development programs, I was moving up that trajectory. But then something happened where I said, God, is this where you would have me to be? I know I'm doing what, the company's sharing I should do. I'm doing what, I feel like I'm supposed to do in terms of my career. But there was this thing that they were saying, something is bigger for you, Michelle. And so it happened, I was applying for a global HR role, and the role didn't go through because of funding. And that was okay, because my company's like, hey, we'll position you for this director of mergers and acquisitions. But as they were going through that process, I started to think and say, God, something's missing. And I started to do more praying and saying, God, I need to hear your voice in my career. Like, I feel like, I'm checking the boxes, but yet not the right boxes. So I did praying and fasting and say, God, where would you have me to be? And in that space of surrender, in that space of listening, it was, I want you to take this path totally different from what you think you're supposed to be doing and take a leap of faith. And I want you to trust me in this process. I want you to trust that I'll provide for you. And in doing that, I let go of the kind of the what should be. And I said, God, I'm going to embrace this what could be. And that is helping people align the faith, hearing from God, their purpose, their passion in their career. And that's when I quit my job and started Journey Unlimited. And in this space, I look at people holistically. Like, we can't just look at your career in a silo and say, now this is what you're supposed to do. I want to embrace all of who you are and then say, now based on this and God's perfect design for you, where has he designed you to be? And so I started Journey Unlimited. And it's interesting when you say the name Journey Unlimited. I remember I quit my job not knowing. I knew there was something about this business, coaching, faith, something, but I didn't know what it was. So I quit my job not knowing. People don't do that. Do that. But what I did was, in that space, I started to get quiet. I started to remove the background noise, remove all the distractions, and get quiet. And, working with my family and saying, as we were praying as a family, God, what is the name of this thing that you have? And that's when, it was a family effort. My support system, so important to have a support system, is when we came with the name Journey Unlimited. So it's really when you start to let go of the kind of the what should be and embrace the what could be, you can really have this unlimited journey and make it become what is, which is what I've done with Journey Unlimited. So
I love that.
yes.
I love everything about that. What you have described is what I know to be true in terms of doing work that's connected to purpose and connected to calling. And in fact, I recently started a mastermind and accelerator. We call it the BMA, or the Beyond Mastermind and Accelerator, that includes 10 women who have been called to something greater than themselves. And we're in the yes. Oh my gosh. And these women are magnificent, and what they are, the impact and imprint they're going to have on this world is tremendous.
Yes.
And some of them know what they're called to do. Some of them know that they have been called to something, but they're not quite sure what it is. And I wholeheartedly believe that in order to get clear, you have to get quiet.
You have to get quiet.
You have to get quiet.
Yes.
And you can't get that clarity without it. So I love that you got quiet, you prayed on it, you brought in reinforcement, because I think it's good to do that. But also, it's also important to discern that feedback.
Oh my goodness. You are like about to touch on something that is so important to me. When I tell you what, I say, when you have an idea, and I had an idea, and it's interesting because when I decided I was going to leave my job, I called my parents, because my parents are like my awesome support system, and we fasted and prayed as a family. And when I actually did it, no one else knew. In fact, I was calling my friends like, hey, by the way, I put in my notice. Because when you have been given a seed, you have to protect it so much and pour water onto it, and only tell people who pour water onto that seed. Because if you don't, and that seed is not rooted, it will easily come up from the ground. If I had reached out to other people and said, hey, this is what I'm doing, there would have been more of the logical side. And again, good intent, right? People care for you, good intent, but it would have started picking apart what I knew was for me. And I needed to plant that seed and have people who were going to see what I see, people who were going to pray with me, and then pour water onto it, right? And so then when it took root and it was grounded, then I can share to the masses, because I knew what I had was grounded and nothing was going to pull it up at that point. But oftentimes people too early start to share, and then that seed that they have that they're so excited about gets picked apart before it has time to take root. And then they say, wait a minute, what happened? And it's because you didn't pour water onto it. So I love when you
Yes.
said that. Yes, I had to connect with
Yes.
the right people.
Absolutely. And it's funny because, and you probably experience this too, oftentimes, even my clients will say, well, what do you think about this? And sometimes I have perspective. Sometimes it's not for me to provide my thoughts. And I say, you know the answers.
Yes.
You know the answers. This is not, you don't need anybody else's perspectives
Yes.
but your own and God's. So get quiet, pray about it, and
Mm.
receive because you
Yeah.
know the answer. I
And,
can't
and
tell it.
and that's the thing about coaching, right? So and then I'm in this field of coaching, and
Yes.
people say, oh, you're good at giving good advice. Coaching is not giving advice. Coaching is
Right.
listening and asking questions. And you are so right, because that idea is buried into you. And our job as coaches is to really just help you bring it forth, help you start
Yes.
to remove all the layers of doubt, of fears, of insecurities. Our job is to help you remove that, so that thing that you have planted in you can really start to spring forth, because you're getting
Yes.
quiet. You are coming up with the answers. We're just asking the questions and allowing you the freedom and the space to vocalize it, right? And that's,
Yes.
my job is to ask the questions, so people can really vocalize that thing that's in them, and then be free. Like, that's what it is, and I'm in a safe space to do it, right? Without
Yes.
judgment, without this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. It's that freedom. So I love that.
Oh, well, let's talk about
Mm-hmm.
how you work with clients.
Mm-hmm.
So, in your practice, can you
Mm-hmm.
share some of what, how you work with people and some of the services you have?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's two parts to my business, and the overlying thing, the overlying purpose, and this of my business, this is hot off the press, is getting clear on, and I had to get clear on my purpose. So I
Mhm.
know what I do, I know kind of my methodology, but my purpose is to glorify God in the workplace. And in doing
Mm,
that, it's utilizing our strengths, our talents, who He has designed us to be, and letting that be free in the workplace. So that when we're out there, people say, wow, that person is really loving what they do and utilizing who they are meant to be, and they're treating people with respect, they're helping people, this caring spirit, this servant leadership in the workplace. So I'm really excited to really share that. And so in doing that, it's twofold. So the first one is for individuals who say, how can I be my best self in the workplace? How can I make sure that I'm aligned with who I am in my job, and utilizing my strengths, my talents, what God has gifted me, to really maximize my time at work, maximize who I am? So I offer career service coaching services for those individuals, where they can work with me one-on-one, where we go through that discovery process. And then in addition to that, it's the strategic part of then operationalizing it. So you have this
mm.
discovery, you're like, yes, I know what it is. Okay, now what? And so that's where in this coaching, we do the vision, we do strategy to help you move into that space, understanding what you need to do technically to move into that next career field, that industry, or even elevate in your career. And again, the building blocks that God has given me the past years as an HR professional to help in that strategic side of then operationalizing the vision, and then action, so people can work with me on a one-on-one basis. In addition, I do offer group services for people who say, hey, I want to work with others. So we still go through that program, but in a group atmosphere. So
Mm,
that way, not only are you getting coaching from me, but your peers. And
that's
then,
wonderful.
yeah, so I really like the group aspect, because there's coaching that happens, there's feedback that happens, and there's the support that happens in a group environment. And then finally, and this was something I was teeter-tottering in, but I had to really go, Michelle, if you want to glorify God in the workplace, you got to be in the workplace. So I do offer enterprise solutions for organizations who say, we want our purpose. We want to have our purpose be lived out in the workplace. So understanding what is the vision, and then how do our team members, how do our employees really start to walk the talk in that space. So that means we've got to develop our leadership skills. That means we've got to develop our culture within the organizations where we are living our purpose, we are living our values, and that is experienced by everyone in the company. So those are kind of the three pillars that I work in for Journey Unlimited.
That's beautiful. And then in terms of, let's start with your one-on-one clients.
Mm-hmm.
Who are the types of clients you typically work with?
Yes, I work with people who want to move and get results. I work with people who are wanting to be stretched. So these individuals are currently working in their corporate field and they say, I need to be stretched. I want to grow and I'm ready to move now. I don't want to teeter totter anymore. So when you are one of those results oriented, because that's kind of my one of my core values or results, and you say, I may not know exactly what it is, but I know that I'm ready to move. That's the people I want to work with. People who want to move and then invest in themselves. It takes time. It takes resources for coaching. And for those individuals who are ready to move, ready to invest, those are the people I love working with. And now I often get, do I have to be a Christian to work with you? You know, do I have to be a believer to work with you? And I share this. I work with people from all religious backgrounds. I'm going to pray for you, period. You know, I'm going to pray for my clients. I'm going to ask the Holy Spirit to help guide the coaching conversation. That is my job. Now, if you say, yes, I'm a believer, then we can talk faith. We can talk that in the coaching conversation. If you say, I'm not, I'm still going to require you to journal. I'm still going to require you to get quiet. And then you can discern in that quiet time, you know, who you pray to or how you pray or what you do in that space. But I'm still going to require that of you. So, you know, my goal as the coach is to discern the Holy Spirit, but your job as the client is to choose, you know, what, you know, whether you're praying or whether you're meditating, it's still to get quiet.
Mm-hmm. And then with regards to companies, what type of organizations do you typically work with?
So
or are you targeting?
Yes. So I support, you know, the medium-sized to larger organizations in terms of, you know, my company culture services, and it's organizations who, you know, oftentimes it is kind of peeling back the leadership layers, but at least there is at the as top as we can go with the organization, a desire for change. Mm-hmm. Now, it's sometimes difficult, and I'm okay with that, but at least knowing there's some things that we want to do differently and we're open to what that is. And if you at least come with an open plate, I can jump in and go from there.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Now, when you were describing the work that you do and who you work with, mm-hmm. I couldn't help but realize that this is a message that we're not really hearing a lot. We're hearing, do what you love what you do, and go be an entrepreneur, and go, you know, have that side hustle that will turn into a full-time thing. And that is, I mean, hey, hello, like you and I, like we did that.
Hello.
And that was our path. But what I love about what you're saying is it is possible to live out your purpose within a company. Yes. So talk a little bit about your philosophy, your point of view on that.
Yes. Oh my goodness, girl, you have touched the nerve. And I did a video on this like 2 weeks ago, because the perception is purpose equals entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. And the perception is purpose equals I gotta be at a nonprofit, right? And those are the only people who are living out their purpose. And my thing is this, not everybody is meant or designed to be an entrepreneur. When you look at your workplace, you were there almost a third of your life, right? And that is your ministry. So think of, how am I treating other people? How am I utilizing my strengths, my talents, where I can let this place shine in what I do? Because I'm there. And how am I, you know, when I'm talking to other people, what do they see in me? I mean, there is so much in terms of that corporate world that, when you think of stress, right, in the who you are and how you take that home, imagine a place where people were actually living in their design and loved going to work, and what that would do for you personally, what that would do for your family, because you would be a different person when you walk through those doors at home, what that would even do for the company in terms of results when people like where they work. I mean, you can go to a fast food restaurant, right? And you can think of a place where there is that shine and that light of people who work there versus those who don't. And you say, where do I want to go? Where do I want to spend my money? Same thing in your company. If you think of when I'm around people who like what they do, when they are doing what comes naturally to them and they're shining in the workplace, and you think of even the customer service, who do I want to do business with? The people where it's shining and light and there's joy because they're living in their talents, or the organization where people are dreading it and there's this weight that comes with it. That's who I want to do business with. That's who I want to work with. So when you apply that to people, you say, I'm a resource in that organization. How is my light shining when I'm there? And if it's not, oh, this is good. When it is not, the thing is, now I've got to start a business. Questions is it the job or the company? If it is a job, then looking at what type of job I can do to let my light shine. If you love your job, then is it the work environment? Is it the values of the company? Well, then maybe I need to move to another company. Yes. It doesn't mean I got to start a business. And so,
you just gave some people, you just released some people.
Please,
you liberated some people.
Please hear that. Please hear that, because we often, when we are unhappy, then we think, I got to start a business. Yeah. When we are not satisfied, then we think, and God is nowhere in this picture. There's no praying. There's no, there's no fasting. There's no discernment. It's just, I'm unhappy. I gotta go. And so those are the questions I ask. Is it the job? Is it the company? Those things you need to discern. Because with entrepreneurship, people see the postings. They say, oh, this person's running a business. Oh, why work for the man when you can work for yourself? But they don't see what it really takes in terms of stretching, growth, really having to build something. And I shared that the cross comes before the crown in entrepreneurship. So if you are not anchored in your vision, if you are not anchored in your business and you're just doing it because you're running away from something, you will not sustain entrepreneurship. So I say, before you make that decision, you think about you, and then, is this for me, or do I need to move into something different?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That is so good. Well, how do you think someone can discern then whether they need to stay in-house or if they should start a business?
Mm-hmm. And that's where that quiet time, comes into, where it is that getting quiet, working with a coach, right? And so they can help you in that discovery process. And it's something that takes time. It's not like an overnight, like, bam, I figured out my purpose in one session. Now I know what I want to do. It's a process, but it's getting that support to help you through that process, and, not trying to go at it alone, but asking questions, hearing and then saying, what is it that I feel that I can do? And then, am I able to stretch myself? What does that look like? Do I have the resources to do this, the investments to do this? And really going through that thought process, because it looks easy.
Oh gosh, but let me tell you,
if you are not anchored in it.
Ooh, tell me about it. 5.5 years in, I have to be honest with you. It really has been this year and like the second half of the year that I feel like I'm finally in harvest. I have been sowing for over 5 years. And it wasn't until now that I feel like, okay, I'm reaping some of the benefits. Like it has, there have been moments where I'm like, maybe I should look at LinkedIn. maybe I should look at LinkedIn. And then there are other moments where I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? This is why I am here. I am doing
Yes.
what I am supposed to be doing. And I
Yes.
love what you were talking about earlier with
Mm-hmm.
surrender. And
Mm-hmm.
the most the loudest theme for this year for me that was not selected by me, but it's clear, has been obedience. And I think obedience and surrender go hand in hand.
Oh,
So
that's
I
good.
love everything that you're saying. And I love that, when you're walking in purpose, when you even understand that your life has a purpose, you are connected with the
Mm-hmm.
divine, however you
Mm-hmm.
define the
Yeah.
divine. It's the
Yes.
same divine, regardless of what you call it.
Yes.
So, but when you're connected to that and
Mm-hmm.
surrender yourself to that and be
Mm-hmm.
obedient to what you
Yes.
hear in those moments of quietness, oh my gosh, it's
Yes.
beauty. That's where the beauty comes in.
I
So I
love
am,
it.
and I'm so proud of you for taking that leap, not only taking that leap, but also being obedient and
Mm-hmm.
serving people
Yes.
in this way, because you are in alignment. And when we do that, right, then it gives
Mm-hmm.
other people the permission to do that themselves.
Yes.
And now you're saying, not only can you see me doing this and walking in my purpose, you can do that too. And you
Yes.
don't have to do that on your own as an entrepreneur.
Yes. Yes. And this quote, I love this quote. I share it every time I speak at something, and it is this: the destiny of thousands is tied to the obedience of one. So,
Mm,
right? Oh, it gives me chills.
mm,
Because when you think of that, I mean, it is even whether it's in your if you say, yes, I know entrepreneurship, I know this is my journey, right? Then you are going to be touching thousands and thinking of my path is impacting all those people around me. Even in my corporate job, you'll think, how does that apply to me? That applies to me, by the way, if I'm a leader, how I lead my teams. And if I'm helping them grow and develop, what does that mean for their career trajectory? And then how does that impact not just them, but their families at home? How does that
mm.
impact how they show up at home? How does that impact how they pour in their income at home? I mean, all of that is tied together. If I'm an employee and the way I treat other people then changes their attitude, and if they're seeing a light in me, then they can start asking questions about that light within, which can change how they are when they go back home. So everything that we do, no matter what career field you're in, it is going to impact people. So it's, are you impacting people for the better, where they leave you feeling blessed and then thinking, how can I take this blessing and share it with other people? Or when they come in contact with you, are they feeling weighed down? And then that weight, they're taking and pouring it on to other people.
That's so good. That is so good.
Yes.
That quote, I mean, I am, yes, that blessed me. So the destiny of thousands is it tied to or connected to?
Tied to the
Tied to
obedience of one.
the obedience of one. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
whew, wow.
Yes.
I think that's where we need to end before we go to the final five, because I mean, and I for those of you listening or watching, pause, rewind that, listen to that one again. Listen to that one again and again and again. Share that quote,
Yes,
because that is
please.
golden. That is golden.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Michelle,
Mm-hmm.
we are to what we call the final five.
Okay.
And in season 4
Mm-hmm.
of Beyond the Business Suit, we're changing it up a bit. We
Okay.
usually have the same 5 questions.
Okay.
This time we're going to do like my grandparents on my mom's side, my maternal grandparents, they
Mm-hmm.
played the lottery quite a bit.
Okay.
So we're going to call this the pick 5.
Okay.
So you can pick 5 numbers
Mm-hmm.
between the numbers of 1 and 22. And then I'm
Okay.
going to ask you the 5 questions that are connected to those 5 numbers. So 5 numbers between 1 and 22.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with 4.
Mm-hmm.
April. I'm gonna go with 9 because that was my number when I crossed Zeta. So I'm a 9.
Ah.
I'm going to go with 11, because my nephew was born July 11th. I'm going to go, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know some July 11s.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 3,
Mhm.
because my brother was born in March, and 5 because I've got a lot of family born in May. So
Perfect. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 9, and 11.
yes. Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. So the first question is, what was your first job? Like your
Pay,
first job ever?
okay. Paying job was working at Bath and Body Works. Um,
All the smell goods.
I know I spent my whole check there. That was my first paid job. And I'll tell you this. When I was going and applying for jobs and I was too young, but they still hired me. I applied for Bath and Body Works and McDonald's. McDonald's wouldn't hire me. They wouldn't even take me for an interview. Yes.
Oh my goodness. But see, it wasn't meant for you to be there. It just wasn't meant to be.
God is good.
Yes. So the next question is, what are some of the things you do to recharge your energy?
Oh my goodness. The first one is being around family. Being around family and friends where I can just be, just lay around, talk, have dinner, just girl talk, or even with family. I love when I am just, at someone's house and we are just laughing and having a good time and eating. That is like the best recharge for me, when I could just do nothing and just be around people with good energy.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
What is one quote that you live by or has inspired you? I think
Oh,
you
that
already
was
shared
easy.
one, but
That was
so you can
easy.
use that one again, or you can give us
I
another
tell
one.
you, that quote is really what has been anchoring me. And it's the destiny of thousands is tied to the obedience of one. And it's reminding myself to be obedient. And so sometimes it doesn't make sense. And sometimes I'm like, God, I don't know. He's like, I'm not asking you to know. I'm just asking you to be obedient. And when I do that and I let go of it is when I've seen him work things out. And so that is my favorite quote. So that one.
And that's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is, if you could have brunch with 3 people, who would you choose?
Okay. Well, going with, the girl talk. Because I, just finished talking about, being around people and laughing. I would want to have brunch with Michelle Obama. Michelle Connection.
Of course.
Of course. And Oprah. I just feel like it would be a fun conversation. And if I'm around those 2 great women, like, I got to include my mom because she would also enjoy it.
Of course.
It would just be a fun brunch with those 3 women. So
I would love to be there. I'm going to invite myself to that one.
yes, you're invited.
So the final question is, what do you put on to feel the most powerful?
Okay. Just short answer, lipstick. Color lipstick. Like, I was always a neutral tone. I just wear my lip gloss. But there is something about that, putting on a pop of red or a pop of a hot pink or something that just lights up the face. It just lights me up. And it's like, I got this. So, yeah. So now you'll see me in lipstick.
And the color that you have on is beautiful. So if you're listening to this on the podcast and you're not watching the video, then make sure that you go to beyondthebusinesssuit.com and search for Michelle Glover in the search box so you can see this video and see this beautiful color. What are you wearing today? Do you know the name of it?
I think it's All Fired Up by MAC.
Ooh.
What a coincidence.
Look at that. So we do.
All Fired Up.
Yes. So we do have one bonus question, which is, how can people connect with you online or on social media?
Oh, this is a great one. So you can follow me on social media, both Facebook and Instagram, at My Journey Unlimited, and you can connect with me there. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. So Michelle Glover, Journey Unlimited. on LinkedIn. And finally, you can visit my website, www.journeyunlimited.com. And that's where you'll get messages from me, quotes from me, videos to share that you can watch to really be encouraged for your own journey. And in going to my website, you can subscribe to my newsletter, which is about providing you career tips, resources, support, so that way you can live your journey unlimited.
Michelle, thank you so much for blessing us today, being so generous with your time. And I can't wait for the Beyond the Business Suit tribe to experience you. So thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity. So much fun. I mean, your energy, your spirit, it just radiates. And so when we connected, I was like, probably like,
no, both of us. The people in that coffee shop were probably like, ooh, what is going on over there?
But you are just a beautiful spirit, beautiful energy. And I am so blessed to have come in contact with you. And I'm so blessed to be on your podcast. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.